Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss unit number 6, that is ISDN, Integrated Service Digital Network. So, come to the introduction. So, ISDN is the important development in the field of computer communications in the year 1980. Okay, it was developed with a very well planned, because you are keeping the things in mind that it should compatible with the existing devices as well as the upcoming future devices. Therefore, this ISDN is a well planned area of development in the field of telecommunications, because in the olden days it may contain analog equipment. Later it was modified to a digital one. So during this transition also, it has to club all the services and form an ISDN. What ISDN stands for? Integrated Service Digital Networks. The meaning of this is, you have to provide multiple number of services with help of single network. For example, if you take some services, I want voice service, and I want data service, and I want some passive mail, I want some telefax. So, to provide different services, generally you have to use different networks. But with the help of ISDN, all these services can be given with the help of this ISDN. That is called as integrated services. Integrating more number of services with the help of a single digital network. Okay, so therefore it is necessary to plan it in a proper manner, because in the olden days we have analog devices, networks and all, and our future we may get digital things. So while developing this ISDN, they should have to plan something in such a way that the older technology as well as newer technology must be having compatibility. Okay, that is the reason why this ISDN is a well planned area of development in the field of telecommunications. So the planning of ISDN is brought into picture whenever this PCM was introduced in telecommunications. Okay. So without this PCM technology, there is no digital. For no digital, you cannot able to provide this many services. Okay. Therefore, so the digitalization of telecommunications started whenever the PCM was introduced into the telecommunications. It is used for both voice and data transmission. Okay. So after analyzing this, CCIT recognized the feasibility of digital telecommunications in the market, and they started one study group called as Special Study Group D to analyze the feasibilities. And this study group D come up with some recommendations in G702 and given some formal definition of ISDN. So this is the formal definition of ISDN, that is with the same digital switches. Okay, the same digital switches and digital paths, you can able to provide different services such as telephony and data. This is the first formal definition given by CCIT after their research. So in the recommendation G702, they given this formal definition of ISDN. With the help of same digital switches and digital path, you can able to provide more number of services such as telephony and data as well. Okay, now we see, and they given some 6 conceptual principles. They given some 6 conceptual principles for the development of this ISDN, because ISDN is not developed in a day. Okay, they have to give some principles. The first principle is, it is evolved from telephone IDN. What is the meaning of IDN? IDN stands for Integrated Digital Networks. In the olden days, to provide different services, they use different networks. One for voice, one for data, one for fax, like that. This is called IDN. Providing different services with different networks. That is called as IDN. So, this ISDN is first started with IDN. They have, with the help of some user interfaces and this ISDN exchange, they are going to provide different services with different networks. We call them as segregated networks. Segregated networks, because we are combining different networks. We are brought different networks into a single part. Okay, to provide different services. So, to provide additional functions and network features. So, only voice is there, only data is there, only fax is there. So, by clubbing all them, we are providing some additional features and functions, you can able to provide all these services, but on different networks. Initially, it was started like that. And to provide these new services, ISDN should be compatible with the 64 kbps switches, digital connections. So already we come across this point. It uses 64 kbps channels for transmitting your voice and speech signals. In the previous class, we studied these points. And this transition from this IDN to ISDN may require some decades of time. It may take 1 or 2 decades. And ISDN will contain some intelligence for purpose of providing these services with the help of features, maintenance and network management. And one more point here is, it uses a layered protocol architecture like OSI model. This ISDN should also contain some layered architecture. It uses a layered architecture. These are the 6 conceptual principles given by the CCITT in its recommendations. And what is the need for or motivation for moving to ISDN? The first motivation is sociological needs. For example, a biochemist is there. He is in rural area. He want to sample a blood sample. He want to test a blood sample, and he want to communicate this thing to a doctor who is far away. So if you take olden days, this biochemist has to test the blood sample and report or courier or post to the corresponding doctor. It takes some time to diagnose the disease. For example, the disease is in advanced stage. In that case, we don't have that much time to wait. So, the reason here for introducing ISDN is, with the help of this technology, this biochemist can able to transfer high quality microscopic images to the doctor through a mail. Therefore, the doctor can diagnose and give a better suggestions for the treatments. So, in this case, with the help of a mail, he can able to give the solution very fastly when compared to the previous case. Therefore, this is one of the social need for introducing this ISDN. And next one is economical needs. So if you have to take a customer, this customer may want a voice service, a data service, some fax service, and something. So to get all these services, he has to take new connections from one voice provider, one data provider, and one fax provider. Therefore, so all these providers have to install their own buildings. They have to install their own networks to provide these services. So it is drawback in 2 cases. One is, even though the channels, the networks what they are having may not be fully utilized. One thing is, resources are not properly utilized if we provide different services with the different networks. Okay, and one more thing is, the cost spent by this amount of money spent by the customer is large. So for each and every subscriber, for every service, they have to provide some rental charges, service charges, and so on. If I am going for ISDN, a single provider can able to give all the services. Therefore, the cost incurred by this customer is less. So in this way, this ISDN also overcome this economical needs, because this ISDN, with the help of this ISDN, So we can able to share all these services. We can provide all these services. So only single network, so they can share among them. And next one is technology development. So since we are having a very good VLC technologies, so providing those digital switches, digital components is very easy. So by utilizing this technology development, it is easy to develop, it is easy to provide different services with the help of this ISDN. So this is the motivation of moving to the ISDN. Social needs, economical needs, and utilizing the technological developments. And now we see the protocol architecture, network protocol architecture of ISDN. Okay, so this wide range of telecommunication equipments and networks that are existing today cannot be replaced overnight by ISDN, because it is not developed in a day. It took some 1 to 2 decades of time to get the ISDN. Okay, so we cannot replace all the equipments that are existing in that time overnight for implementing this ISDN. So it is a gradual process, so that they should have to cope up with the existing and upcoming technologies. And one more thing is, so they have to utilize these analog telephone networks initially, and later they have to replace with the digital networks. So these networks are operated with the existing data and signal networks, which are termed as IDN. That is what we discussed in the previous slide. Providing all the service with the help of some user interface and ISDN exchange, we are going to integrate different types of providers on a single path. That is called IDN. So therefore, initial ISDN is functioned as a collection of segregated networks to which an integrated access is provided. That is called, that is the oldest, that is the architecture is initially developed. So it contains one ISDN exchange with some user interface. Here I am able to provide multiple services. Like this. So this is a simple architecture of ISDN using IDN. So this is architecture. So user have to use some user network interface, and there are different types of services we are integrating. Hence this comes under an segregated model. Segregated model. So in this topic, the objective here is you have to find out which one is better, whether an integrated network or an ISDN. So here we call as S. S stands for segregated network. So here the parameter T is called as mean waiting time. Here time, the capital T is called as mean waiting time. So this is the performance parameter for comparing the performance of the ISDN and the performance of the segregated network. So finally I am going to give some conclusion that whether which one is better, whether this segregated model or integrated model is superior. So to analyze this, you have to use one model called as birth-death process. With the help of this model, we are going to find out the steady state equations. From that equations, we are going to find out this evaluate the performance parameters. So first we will see the structure. So this is called, comes under integrated model. That is only one network providing all the services. This is called segregated model, where different networks are providing different services. And the assumption is all are utilizing them equally. So what is lambda stands for means, lambda stands for mean arrival rates. mean arrival rate, and mu stands for mean termination rate. Okay, so for these two, so with the help of these queuing models, so m by 1 and m by c. With the help of these two queuing models, okay, you have to find out the performance parameter. So to find these two queuing models, first of all, you have to learn, you have to get some equations from this birth death process, BD process. Call them as BD process. So the dynamics of these queuing systems are governed by the steady state birth death equations. So first how to find out these birth death equations with the help of birth death process. So in case of birth death process, here I am taking a state K. This is state K. This is state K minus 1. This is state K plus 1. So K stands for that is in same state. Where this is K minus 1 stands for a death process. Death process means here in terms of telecommunication, we call them as call arrival and call termination. So call arrival means a new call is originated. The name indicates birth. This comes under birth process. And what about call termination is closing a call. That it comes under a death process. So to analyze this, let's take a time interval t to t plus delta t. So in this time delta t, what happens for a given state K? It may be in same state, or it may terminate, or a new call may arrive at this time delta t. So this is the at time delta t, and this is the state transition in interval t plus delta t. So the call may terminate, or the call may progress, or in the same state, or a new call may arrive in this delta t time. So this gives the idea of your birth death process. So how to analyze the probability that what is happening in this given time delta t, whether the call may arrive or the call may terminate or it may be in the same state. So with the help of this blocking probabilities, you have to find that. The objective is to find out what is the probability that it is in some state K. So here we have to consider two things. One is in the given time delta t, only one thing should happen, either a call may arrive or a call may terminate, but not both. And this delta time t must be equal to the arrival time or termination time. You have to keep these 2 points in mind. Okay, in the given time delta t, only one thing should happen, either the call may arrive, the call may terminate, or it is in the same state. And the arrival time and termination time is exactly equal to lambda t. It is not greater than delta t. Okay, with these assumptions, I am going to find out the probability. So I find out the probability of lying in some state K in the time delta t as, and few more points series, arrival rates and termination rates. So here lambda is taken as a arrival rate and mu is taken as termination rates. Okay, so I can write like this. This as some p k minus 1 into t plus delta t lambda k minus 1. So we take it plus ek minus 1 t plus delta t into mu k minus 1 plus. So along with this you have to take, if it is the same state k, in that case you have to take 1 minus lambda k into 1 minus mu k and pk of t plus delta t. So what it indicates? It indicates it is in the birth process, it is in the death process, or it is in the same state, because the call may not arrive or the call may not terminate. Arrival rate means lambda, not arrival means 1 minus lambda. Termination means mu, not termination means 1 minus mu. That means it is lying in the same state, pk only. Okay. So here if you multiply it and neglect the higher order terms, the equation is simplified like this: pk of t plus delta t is equal to pk plus 1. So here no need to take this t here, delta t here, because of t is taking that in the delta time t what is happening. So no need to take delta t here, take only t. So pk plus 1 of t into lambda k plus 1 plus pk minus 1 of t into mu k plus 1 q minus 1 and plus, this is comes under, we take minus common, minus lambda k plus mu k pk of t plus pk of t. So this is a modified equation. So here you can take the final expression is p k of t plus delta t is equal to p k minus 1 of t into mu k minus 1 delta t. So what this delta t stands for? In that given delta t time, the call may be terminated, plus p k plus 1 of t lambda k plus 1 into delta t minus lambda k plus uk pk of t plus pk of t. So this is the final equation. So from this what we have to find out? We have to find out the dynamics. The dynamics means the rate of change of probability. That means differentiation. So what is the formula of finding differentiation? We already know, limit some delta h tends to 0, f of x plus delta h minus f of x by delta h. Nothing but d f of x by dt. This is a formula of differentiation from L'Hospital rule. Right? Now try to find out this differentiation, because we want to find out the dynamics of the BD process, nothing but the rate of change of probability. So from this what you can find? You can find pk of t plus delta t minus pk of t by delta t and limit delta t tends to 0 is equal to pk minus 1 of t mu k minus 1 plus p k plus 1 of t into lambda k plus 1, and this is minus lambda k plus mu k into pk of t. So there is no delta t term side in this side. So even the applied differential limit on both sides, it may not be 0, it may not change. Therefore, you can replace this equation with the d pk of t by dt is equal to the same thing. It repeats. So this is the final expression of dynamics of this BD process. That is rate of change of probability that the state in K state only. Okay. So here, what our objective is to find out the steady state analysis. So for steady state behavior, the differentiation becomes 0. Therefore, the equation modify like this. So P k minus 1 of t into u k minus 1 plus p k plus 1 of t lambda k plus 1 minus lambda k plus mu k of pk of t is equal to 0. So the LHS is 0, RHS is 0 because we are trying to find out the steady state behavior of BD process. So name it as equation 1. So this equation holds good when k is greater than or equal to 1. This equation holds good when the value of k is greater than or equal to 1. If you take k is equal to 0, for k is equal to 0, how this equation modifies? If k is equal to 0, it is p of minus 1. So p of minus 1 cannot exist because we can't go to future, past. Therefore this becomes 0. And what about this one? This becomes p1 of t and lambda 1 minus, and what about mu k? K is equal to 0 means what? It is the state may not change. Therefore, the call may not terminate. Therefore, this mu k becomes 0. So in this case, what happens? Mu 0 is equal to 0 because you are saying that is the same state. Therefore, the call may not terminate. That indicates what? Mu naught is equal to 0. So minus lambda 1 or lambda naught p naught is equal to 0. Therefore, remove two terms here. I can simplify like p1 lambda 1 minus lambda naught p naught is equal to 0. So two equations we got. So with the help of these two equations, we are going to find out the performance of the integrated network as well as the segregated network. So remember these two equations now. Now, with the help of these two, I am going to find out the parameter t. So for the system under consideration, we have the following parameters. Now we are going to model these MM by C and MM by N model, three models for the integrated networks and segregated networks. So here I will take some parameters. Lambda as total mean arrival rate and mu as total mean service time, and n is the number of services for the case of segregated network. And some important points is the total arrival rate and service capacities remain same for both the networks. And one more point assumption is arrivals and service rates are assumed to be constant and independent of the state of the system. So under these considerations, that means this comes under the steady state process, steady state equation. Therefore, so these are the two equations. Okay, you can take. So lambda pk minus 1 plus mu pk plus 1 minus lambda plus mu pk is equal to 0. This is the first equation, this is the second equation. So with the help of these two equations, you have to find the required values. So the equations here, we have lambda pk minus 1 lambda p k minus 1 plus mu p k plus 1 minus lambda plus mu p k is equal to 0. First equation. Second equation is p1 mu is q minus is equal to p naught lambda. For different values of k, try to analyze. This is for k is equal to 0 equation. For k is equal to 1, put k is equal to 1, what will get? You will get lambda p1 plus mu p2 minus lambda plus mu p1 is equal to 0. So in place of p1 we can put p naught lambda. What becomes lambda into p1 is p naught lambda plus mu p2 minus lambda plus mu into p1 means p naught lambda is equal to 0. So if you rearrange this, mu p2 is equal to what we get, lambda naught square p, get cancelled both sides. This becomes mu p naught lambda. So what is mu p naught? Mu p naught means, so lambda naught p means p1 mu. This becomes mu p2 is equal to mu square p naught. Therefore p2 is equal to mu p naught. Okay, if we keep on doing for remaining values, mu, which is known as trophic intensity. Which is known as trophic intensity. Okay, so in this equation, I want to eliminate p naught. So to get that, use the fact that the probability of sum of the above equations is equal to 1, because always the total probability is 1. Okay, so from this, for this, if we apply the geometrical progression, what we get? The value of sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity rho power k is equal to 1 by 1 minus rho. Okay, from the geometrical progressions, if you expand this, the final answer is 1 by 1 minus rho. Substitute here, what we get? 1 by 1 minus rho into p naught is equal to 1. Therefore, p naught is equal to 1 minus rho. Now I have eliminated this p naught. So in place of p naught, I can put 1 minus rho. Okay, so already we discussed that the parameter T is the performance parameter. The T is called mean service time of the subscribers. If this is based upon this value, you can say that whether the system is good or bad. Okay. So to find out T, before finding you have to find out the value of M. M is mean time to service. Mean time to service. So the value of M is uptime. So M is equal to summation k is equal to 0 to infinity. Okay. Rho power k, or that is k, right? M is equal to summation k is equal to 0 to infinity k p power k. So what is the value of p power k? Substitute this, summation k is equal to 0 to infinity k into p power k is what? P power k is 1 minus rho into rho power k. Okay, that is equal to 1 minus rho into summation k is equal to 0 to infinity rho power k into rho power k. So you have to find out this value. So how to find out this value means, we know that summation k is equal to 0 to infinity. So rho power k is equal to 1 by 1 minus rho. So already we got that value. Summation k is equal to 0 to infinity rho power k is equal to 1 by 1 minus rho. So differentiate this with respect to rho. What will get? Summation k is equal to 0 to infinity k into rho power k minus 1 is equal to 1 by 1 minus rho square. We want this value, so multiply with rho on both sides. We will get summation k is equal to 0 to infinity k into rho power k is equal to rho by 1 minus rho whole square. So in place of this, I can write as 1 minus rho into rho by 1 minus rho square, that is equal to rho by 1 minus rho. This is the value of m. This is called as means service time. Okay, how to find t means? T is equal to m is equal to lambda t. So t is equal to m by lambda. What is m? Rho by 1 minus rho by lambda. Okay, now we have to take this value. With this from this, we have to find out the value of T1 and Ts. So T is equal to rho by 1 minus rho into 1 by lambda. For one system, for iterative system, what is the value of T? Rho means what? Lambda by mu. Substitute this value. Lambda by mu by 1 minus lambda by mu into 1 by lambda. That is equal to how much? You will cancel. So lambda by mu minus lambda into 1 by lambda, that is equal to 1 by mu minus lambda. This is the value of T1. Do it for Ts. For Ts, you can take it as lambda by n and mu by n. Okay, what will you get? 1 by mu by n minus lambda by n. Now taken right in the previous topic with the same. Because it's uniform distributed, the arrival rate is lambda by n and service rate is mu by lambda or mu by n. Sorry, this is mu by n. So what is Ts now? Ts is equal to n by mu minus lambda. That means n times of T1. Therefore, Ts is deteriorates by n times. This indicates what? T1 is much better. That means ISDN is having more performance than segregated networks. Okay, so this is about the queuing models of ISDN and segregated models. Now we see the architecture of ISDN. So like OA is a reference model. This ISDN is also implemented in the form of layers. It has 7 layers. Out of these, the first 3 layers are called as bearer service functions. Whereas with the help of these 3 bearer service functions, we are going to perform any teleservices. So with the help of these 1 to 7 layers, we are going to provide different services. And these are the transmission channels that are used in ISDN: D channel, B channel and H channels. These B channels are low grade channels when compared to D, and H channels are the highest grade channels which are used for high quality services. That means for transmitting high bitrate videos and all. And we use these B channel and D channel. General D channel is for signaling and B channel is for transmitting your voice as well as signaling informations, and we use this H channel for transmitting. Using these channels, we are going to transmit high data rate applications. Okay, so in this product architecture of ISDN, total contains 7 layers. So with the using these 3 layers, these 4 layers are going to perform the teleservice functions. So now we see some of the important points. So layer 1 is called as physical layer. So this layer is going to perform encoding and decoding of signals, and transmission of B, D and H channels are done, and the multiplexing to form basic or primary rates. We will discuss this point in the later classes, what is basic rate and what is primary rates. Okay, based upon some values, we will classify them, what is the basic rate and what is primary rate. Based application are going to use either a primary rate or basic rate. And activating and deactivating of physical circuits, we use this physical layer 1. Next one is data link layer. So with the help of this layer, we are going to establish and clear the data links. We have to find out the error flows and congestions, and can also use this layer for synchronization of the frames. And third one is network layer, so which is used for addressing and routing. It is used to establish and clear network level connections, and it also used for user signaling and network level multiplexing and interworking multiplexing. So we'll discuss all these points one by one in the upcoming classes. So this is an overview of your ISDN protocol architecture, which contains 7 layers. Out of the 7 layers, the first 3 layers are called as bearer service layers. With the help of these 3 layers only, you are going to implement the teleservices. Okay, in the next class we'll discuss about the remaining topics. Thank you.